Are you running a business with your spouse and wondering how you can do it a little better and create some more peaceful, happy, loving marriage vibes while you do business together? Well, stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing the secrets with you for how my husband and I work together in business. Hi, I'm Amy Walker. I'm a client acquisition specialist, and my job is to help you find the simplest path to consistently finding your dream clients. And today we're talking about working with your spouse. So my husband and I have been working together for about 6 years, and we love running the company together. But it is a challenge, and it definitely requires strategy and the right structure in place. So whenever anyone asks my husband, for his advice on working together with your spouse, his number one advice is that most people shouldn't do it. And so it's not for everybody, but if you are currently working with your spouse and you're trying to figure out some tips for how to make that run a little bit more smoothly, then this is going to be a great video for you today. So first, I'm going to share with you 6 tips for how you can make working together with your spouse go a little bit better. And then I want to share with you a little bit about our story of how we started working together, how that went, and some of the things that we've done over the years that have made it be a really positive experience for us. So when you get done, you're gonna have some great tips to help you work better with your spouse. If you are new to the channel and haven't done it yet, please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can get notified every time we release new content, which is 3 times a week. So let's jump right into it. The first strategy that we use that has made a big difference over the year is having owners meetings. So, we have team meetings with our team, but we need to have owners meetings where we kind of discuss really the bigger concepts of where the company is going. We make sure that we're on the same page. We get to talk and coordinate, and that helps our business talk to not spill over into all of our marriage talk, and allows us to be able to have also a safe container for where we can express our business ideas and not have it bleed into all of these different places of our relationship. So I highly recommend an owners meeting, preferably each week, but at least once a month, so that you guys can consistently be on the same page and have a container for having really productive conversations. In those owner meetings, we discuss things like finances, we discuss things like roles and responsibilities, we discuss things about challenges or problems that we're having with the business or the team. We also like to make sure that we're on the same page, so we're a united front, so that when we go to the team, nobody ever feels like we're not on the same page. We want everyone to know that we're on the same page, so we take time to get there. My second tip is to have date nights where you don't talk about business. So it's really easy that when you work together, you spend a lot of time together. And because there's a lot of quantity of time, you mistake it sometimes for quality of time. I think you need to go on dates. I think you need to spend time as a couple, not talking about business, not talking about kids, in order to keep the relationship thriving, because the relationship is the most important thing. And it doesn't matter how good business is, if the relationship is a struggle, the business goes down. And so and not that that's the way you would do it, but you want to have a healthy, happy marriage. I mean, that's probably why you started working with your spouse in the first place, because you liked them well enough to even consider it. So make sure that you're investing time into your relationship so that you can really keep things thriving and strong and great there. Tip number 3 is to establish the hierarchy in your company. So in a family, like when it comes to our marriage, my husband and I are really equally yoked. We make conversations or make decisions together. We have conversations together. We pray about things together. Like, we don't really move forward unless we're on the same page. Business is different. In business, you need to have a hierarchy. There has to be one person who gets to have the final say and gets to have the control of making that final decision. In all companies, you have to have a hierarchy. So this isn't different when working with your spouse. It's just that sometimes we don't think to establish through the hierarchy. So the way that our hierarchy works is my husband is responsible for our finances, and he's also responsible for the marketing. And so he will have the final say in those 2 areas unless they interact with one of the other departments, because I'm the CEO of the company, and so I have the final say on all matters relating to the business as a whole. So if it's just a marketing decision and it only affects marketing, then he gets the final say. And sometimes he's made decisions that weren't the ones that I would have made. But if it affects another department like sales, then I can come in and say no, because this is what the sales team needs. This is how the decision needs to be. And there's no conflict, there's no fighting, there's no arguing about it, because we have a set hierarchy in place and everybody has stewardship over their area. Which leads me to number 4, which is autonomy. You do need to have autonomy. You cannot be one in the same all the time with your spouse. You need to have your own space, your own place where you can thrive, where you can do your thing and have space to explore. So we are not up in each other's business all day, every day. Our offices are not in the same room. We have our separate space. We have our separate tasks. We get to set our own schedule. We do our own things. And then we come together to coordinate in the times that matter. So it gives us some space to be able to create and to explore without feeling like you've always got your spouse there questioning. Because a lot of times spouses question each other in a way that they wouldn't question someone else that they're working with. So we want to make sure we're on the right page there. The 5th thing that we do that is really helpful is we communicate a lot about things like our goals. We communicate about our vision, where we're going as a company, what really matters to us, and we make sure that we're always making decisions that are in alignment with that. It's really easy to get off track on the small stuff where we're not on the same page about small things, but if we're on the same page about big things, that really makes it so much easier to sail through some of the maybe conflict or disagreements or things that, we're not loving about the way that the other person is showing up or doing something in their position. If we're on page about the big stuff, we can sail through the small stuff. My last tip for you is to make all decisions based on whether or not they're in alignment with the big picture values. So I mentioned we try to stay focused on that so we can be on the same page and sail through the small stuff. But even with the small stuff, we're constantly looking at, does this align with our ultimate vision for our lives, for our family, and for our business? If it does not align, then we need to say no, even if it's an amazing opportunity. And we've had some great things placed in our path in our years in business that really looked like opportunities that we would feel like, gosh, we're crazy to turn this down. But when we looked at it, it did not align with what we ultimately wanted. I have had friends and I've had clients who they did not have a common end goal, a common end vision for what they really wanted to do. There wasn't something that unified them. And so when these opportunities came that was in alignment with one person's values but not the other person's, it created a lot of friction in their business and in their marriage. And so I think that's been something that we've done that has really made a big difference. So I want to share with you a little bit about how we started working together. So from the very beginning, when I launched the company, I knew that I wanted my husband to work with me. But we had tried working together a few years previous and it didn't go well. And we made the mistake that I think a lot of partners make when they come together, is that I wanted him to be the backup me. So I was doing all of the things that I was doing and I wanted him to catch all of my overflow, which is a pretty terrible way to do it because we have really different strengths and weaknesses. I work in a much faster paced environment and he is very slow paced and very detail oriented. So it's some of the things that I do stress him out to have to do. They're not in his skill set, just like the things that he excels at, I don't even want to touch. And so that was a mistake that we made early on. The second mistake that we made is we didn't really vocalize what we were happy with and what we were unhappy with. And so if we had things that we were unhappy with, we kind of just didn't talk about it because we didn't want to make the other person feel bad. And that also didn't work really well. And then the third thing that didn't work well the first go around was I was very chaotic. And so I didn't have a lot of structure, I didn't have a lot of stability, and he is a person who requires structure and stability, whereas I like change and I like innovation and I like chaos to an extent. And so it was kind of a mismatch. We didn't have a culture that honored both of our strengths. So this second go around, we put a lot more planning into it, a lot more conversation. We talked about it for a good 6 to 9 months before we actually made the change. We worked on things like creating roles and responsibilities and creating the hierarchy and creating the structure and talking through a lot of the hard conversations before we even jumped in and got started. And it has made things go a lot better. The other thing that I feel like has made a difference is not letting business disagreements flow into personal arguments. That if because guys, we've been married for almost 20 years. Everybody has personal arguments. And so if we're having an argument, we're not like bringing the business into it. We really kind of keep those things pretty separate. So that's just a little bit about us and what we've done. I hope some of these tips are helpful for you. I love working with my husband because I know that I'm in business with somebody who 100% has my back. Like, he is with me. He is as invested as I am. He cares about our results as much as I do. And that for me gives me a huge sense of support and peace as I go through building our company. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel. Please leave me a comment. Come join our private Facebook community, Acquire. We would love to see you over there. It's a great place to connect and ask questions. And until next time, I will see you all soon. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.